I'd like to ask Zygmunt Bauman for a comment on what was just said, and a lot of problems are here, and of course we also come back to the title of your lecture, Has the Future Left? If among the left we put some blood instead of other blood and so on, so please if you can give us...
No, I would like to start saying that my knowledge of the facts of the matter, of the things which happen in places which we are discussing, is incomparably inferior to all my predecessors, previous speakers, and if by direct preceding speakers complained about him being a geographer and therefore not able to go into this sort of detail, having spent in these places more than 3 days, but not yet completely 3 years. And I'm just a theoretical sociologist, so I beg apology. I'm here only because Srećko is a person whom it's very difficult to say no. He asked me to be here, so I obediently am here. But it's about as much as I can say about the facts of the matter. I agree completely with what we heard here a moment ago. It was all explained to me very well. I am very grateful for it. I learned quite a lot. What can I respond to that? I have no comparable knowledge. But my feeling is that we are entirely at the moment in the world, in a completely new ball game, as Americans say, and we haven't been here before. It is not just continuation of the old capitalism, continuation or even a slight change. It is simply emergence of the facts which were probably present here from time immemorial, but were not so obvious, so evident, and so noticeable. Namely, the finality of the planetary resources. It's a new phenomenon. I believe in what Rosa Luxemburg used to say. She put her finger on a very important aspect of the secret of the capitalism, virality, so to speak, and historical success. In conquering and exploiting virgin lands until they stop being virgin lands and abandoning them and seeking new ones. What Rosa Luxemburg could not predict yet was that capitalism proved to be also very inventive, not only in invading and conquering and taking under its own administration the yet existing virgin lands, but inventing new virgin lands one after another. On the assumption that with the degree of ingenuity of the consumer society PR system, we can go on infinitely. There's infinite potential supply of not yet exploited virgin land. Like, for example, every citizen of Maghreb, and every citizen of Leeds, every citizen of Oxford and Cambridge, going out from home, keeping a bottle of water, as if they were wandering Sahara. Until quite recently, water was not commercial, it was not a virgin land. Now it has become. Now, like people who were not in debt, who were not living in credit, suddenly discovered by banking system as wonderful virgin land, which can be exploited until they go about their years in debt and will be unable to repay the interest, in spite of all the state-supported sponsorship of going into debt, like teaching compulsorily in every department of the university, all future members of the country elite, the art of living on credit, forcing them to go into debt, or like this operation performed by Clinton mortgages in America. But now, for the first time, it is seen that the supply of virgin lands is limited, and it is seen, it is visible, it is painful, it's frightening, simply because no longer the planet is monocentral, it is multicentral. There are quite serious competitors to the division of whatever is remaining of the planet. But I think that we are facing the prospect of compulsory limitation of consumption, compulsory limitation of the present standard of living, which will be caused by that, forced upon us if it is not done voluntarily, and that will create a quite new ballgame. In what way the absence of virgin lands for exploitation will influence the way of being of capitalist system? It is a big question which we haven't yet seriously started to ask. Going back for a moment to the other question, the Maghreb question, and I'm very grateful to Samir Amin for warning us against the generalizing about the cases in different Arab countries, because in each one the division of labor, so to speak, the power system, distribution of power is different, the problems are different. I'm watching only from distance, pathetically watching what is going on. It is something where it is variety of what is happening. It is impossibility to generalize or extrapolate from any case of rebellion which already happened was to be predicted. I could predict it from concept of localization, this subtle dialectical relationship between global phenomena and local phenomena. Stimuli travel around the world independently of their local causes to become, thanks to planet intercross with information highways, become a global phenomenon. This global phenomenon of which we are speaking now is the global stimuli, locally born, but already global, is what I call human tsunami, greatest discovery. It coincided in time with Japanese tsunami, so comparison was very easy. In one other case, there was irresistible, powerful wave filling Tahrir Square, Liberation Square, and many other squares. And what can we do? They could actually, the power is so great that you can push out of the way even allegedly the most powerful fortresses, barricades, and whatever. And when I watched the crowds filling Tahrir and Liberation Square, particularly in Cairo, they came quite clearly. I tried to watch people show on television. I was not alone. There were millions of people doing the same around the world. They came here at the same place for different reasons. I saw them there, dreamers of the middle class freedoms, who wanted to match the political crowd they didn't have with the economic muscle they already had. On the other hand, there were probably some from, I don't know, whether Islamic Brotherhood or just, under influence of Islamic Brotherhood, but people who just wanted to seek the restoration or creation anew of some sort of social just order by the returning to the Islamic law. And there were probably quite a lot of people who were potentially the social foundation of social revolution, but not thinking this way, not behaving this way. They were simply millions of people without prospects of employment, of decent life, and so on. I noticed that also the signs, I don't know, people who really know about the matters, not like me, you correct me, I very much hope, sign that it was less political revolution than an existentialist revolution, along the lines of Albert Camus, in his Rebel. People went, couldn't stand any longer a situation in which time fell asleep, history stood still, they look around not only towards the West, but towards China, towards India, towards Brazil, even towards South Africa, and felt themselves awfully humiliated by simply being neglected, left behind, and doing nothing about their condition. The regimes which were infantilizing secondarily their own population treated as children, and they couldn't stand it any longer. This accent was very clear in what was happening. I just wonder whether the other people here around the table will confirm this impression or not. There was Naguib Mahfouz, the Egyptian Nobel Prize owner, and he wrote a long time ago. He wrote a novel Before the Throne, and I wanted to quote from it. He already then, it was at the time roughly when the first change of ruler in Egypt happened, when after Governor al-Nasser took over from Mustafa al-Nahas, and Mustafa al-Nahas castigated Nasser for destroying what they, the first generation of rebels, achieved. They had ideas, they had programs, they had educated people and so on. Nasser destroyed all that, and then the conclusion drawn by Mahfouz is we have endured agonies beyond what any human can bear. When our ferocious anger was raised against the rottenness of oppression and darkness, our revolt was called chaos, and you were called mere thieves. Yet it was nothing but a revolution against despotism, blessed by God. Now that's very Cartesian, so to speak, statement, much more than Marxist statement, but nevertheless opening one more window on what is happening there. I mentioned localization, that means that stimuli travel in cyberspace globally, but they always land on the locally produced, locally made airstrip. And the control towers are also locally built ad hoc for the location, and therefore landing the same stick with the same human tsunami landing in different places may lead to very different conclusions, which is once again reconfirming what Secretary said about caution against premature generalization. I think the only common denominator.
Zygmunt, I'm sorry, maybe I would just like now to turn.
That's the last point. Really. The only common element I found was the ubiquitous presence of CIA. Already, well, Ramadan, I wanted to quote from him. Ramadan from Oxford, Ramadan, pointed out that both Europe and the United States never hesitated to hobnob with the worst of dictators, including Mubarak. And he asked now even who is so naive to believe in those people's sudden conversion. And he asked a rhetorical question: have not the United States a long history of collaborating and scheming with Islamic and most traditionalist, retrograde and extremist Islamist forces from Afghanistan to Saudi Arabia? It's a rhetorical question, of course the answer is yes, but why connecting it only with Islam? Mossadegh, another early victim of CIA plot was indeed a Muslim, but Salvador Allende was not. So it is not a question of enmity between different religious creeds. It is the question of CIA unconditional and possibly incorrigible preference for USA-friendly tyrants over democratically elected, incorruptible independents. And I would like to conclude that with such friends, CIA, democracy hardly